right, let's do a quick check-in. So, using the chat box, I might have asked you guys this before. I'm not sure. What is your favorite season? Summer, fall, spring, or winter? And I'll use this as a way to keep track of your attendance. All right, we have a lot of winter, a lot of fall. Any of the four? Cool. Let's ask someone. Lena, why are you a fall person?
I don't know. I just really like how the weather and like the feeling that just it brings. So I really enjoy the fall because it's not too hot and it's not too cold.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, definitely. I love the cold. Whoa. Uh, yeah. All right. Let's go look at something before we get started with the real class. So last time I wanted to look at satire just a bit more. So what I wanted to do was let's show you. Uh, Everyone go to Unit 2 and then go to, I think it was in week 10. Oh, no, sorry about that. Week 11. And there is a Padlet right there. So we're going to look at that right now. So what we're going to look at is satire. Just from the chat box, is anyone fans of Beyonce? Out of curiosity. Yes. All right. Cool. This is gonna be a little easier to figure out. So, first we're gonna watch. Even if you're not a fan of Beyonce, this is be interesting. So her whole life, she spent it being very apolitical. Um, I let's just check if, yeah, yeah. So for people, all the single ladies, an icon, but I don't like to listen to her. All right. So she definitely is an icon. Let's. We saw this one already. Click on the wrong link. No, wrong one. All right, so the third link we're gonna watch. She made a song called Formation. It's off of one of her albums from about 2016, 2015. And what was different about that video was it was the first time that Beyonce was actually publicly political. So typically pop stars, when I say pop stars, people that make popular music. So people like Ariana Grande and Britney Spears if you're older. People that make people that play on Kiss and stuff like that. When you make music, you try to make music that appeals to the mass population. In the past, they usually focused on issues that did not they didn't focus on issues, actually. They didn't focus on political issues. You even see people like Taylor Swift. She avoided talking about politics until she was famous, until she was ready for it. So when Beyonce came out with this video, it caused a stir because she was very heavily pro-black, right? And actually, it caused quite a big um, controversy, right? So we're gonna watch this video, and what I want you to do is use the Padlet. Um, you're going to add, and when you add it, make sure you put your name on it. So Mark, just so I know who did it if you're answering. So for the title, you put your name, and then just your thoughts. So we're gonna watch this first video, and after that, tell me what your thoughts are. What's your feelings about the video? What do you see, right?
What happened?
Paula, they used satire to show that wasn't lost it. It moved. Okay, there it is. It wasn't common to see someone who made music, I guess, that conformed to white people. And once he made a video about being proud of her race and culture, she suddenly became interesting. Yeah. Any thoughts? Anyone want to speak? What do you think of the satire and what are they making fun of? How about um, let's go, Ashley. What do you think? Oh no. How about Amy? What are your thoughts, Amy?
I really like that one part where they're listening to the song and they can't understand it because it's not meant for them. And then some girl commented, but usually everything is. And I thought that was really funny.
Yeah, definitely. How about Valka? What do you think? Valka?
I really liked it. I found that it was funny, and like Amy said, it wasn't meant for them, so they couldn't understand what she was basically saying.
Yeah, I just like the premise overall. It's they turn a very simple thing into a horror movie. All right, so it's a horror movie for white people, right? To show that there are people that are willing to be black in public, black in culture, and it is a PG rated PG for black people. So it's a funny contrast. So that SNL probably does satire one of the best. Um, and the point of it is to show how ridiculous it is. So remember, the point of satire is to show how ridiculous a situation is by using humor. And that is a perfect example of it. So see, Ryan put, I like how she took advantage of the platform. Okay. After expressing her opinion, others couldn't understand that it was meant for. So yeah, definitely a clear example of satire. Oh, Ashley, your mic doesn't work. Okay, sorry about that. All right, so a lot of background, but I wanted to get to that. Let's go look at something from the past. Let me refresh this. So go to week 9. And then click on this slideshow. I don't think we had a chance for everyone to present. Oops. Let me get to link to the slideshow. So I think we presented some, but I do want to present the rest, so we have a better understanding of the people. All right, so the key thing, our unit is called Tragedy in America, and what our goal is to look at current social issues, and to, number one, also to connect how those social issues stem from things that we see in the past. But we're looking at current social issues, and we're grounding it in not only the lives of people that we study, but in the novel that we're reading, Between the World and Me. I do want to address something, and I did mention it in our updates, and I usually say clearly when I write it. But the key thing is we had for one of the quizzes, I think quiz 3. I test you guys on these things, and then more so in the past, I had them as a test because I wanted to. We spent so long in the past to work on it, it's kind of weird during distance learning because you see me for an hour a week, and a sensitive topic like this becomes more of a footnote rather than like a focus. And I think that's the change from the switch from distance learning and in-person learning. So in the past, this lesson, you would spend a week working on this presentation, and we spend a week describing and learning about these people. Um, we don't get that opportunity this time, so it feels like it's very quick. And I apologize if it turns out to be quiz questions. But the goal of learning about these people is to learn about the injustices that are happening. And a lot of times, the people within the Black Lives Matter movement, they say there's like hashtag say her name, right? So stuff like Breonna Taylor. And the goal is, instead of just having their names, we humanize them. And a lot of what I wanted to do when we're showing and learning about like George Floyd or whatever is to learn about their backgrounds and what has happened because of their deaths. So the aftermath, to show you guys the injustice. A lot of times, and at least early on when I was doing this lesson, police officers were getting away without any charges. And actually, you kind of see that now with the case of Breonna Taylor and George Floyd, the officers that were there who watched um, this man sit on his neck. They weren't charged with anything. So once again, I apologize if it came off as insensitive. It wasn't my goal. What are your thoughts on that? How can I improve that in the future? Well, if you want to say anything, let me know. Always open. You can message me. But once again, I apologize if it offended anyone. I don't think you need. Yeah, so we're definitely learning, and the goal. Oh my goodness, my dog's being needy. So, oh my goodness. Okay. The goal is to learn, to have information when we look at this. Yeah, I got distracted too. Like, she kept crying. Okay, so let's go back to these presentations. I don't know where we left off. Did we do Eric Gardner yet?
Yeah, I was the last one to present last week.
Perfect. All right, so let's go with this. We have Amy and Ingrid. Can you guys present, or you girls present Tamir Rice?
I'll start his background information. He was like 12 and he lived in Cleveland, Ohio. His parents were Samaria Rice, Leonard Warner, and a sister named Tajari. He was like his mother described him to be very athletic. He was very creative, very respectful, and his teacher said he was very friendly.
I actually watched some videos before this assignment, but he was like at the park and I guess someone saw him playing around with the gun, and so they called the police saying they didn't know if it was a real gun or not, so if they could go like check it out. But when the police arrived, they just like shot fires, and like the second they saw him and like he fell. I think it was like 3 gunshots. And then the aftermath was that he died on November 22nd, 2014. He passed away while he was after he was sent to a hospital. And they did find out that the gun was fake and it was just a toy gun.
Highly recommend. Yeah, go ahead.
I was simply just gonna comment on the pictures. Like I included like a picture where they sent, I think it was at his like memorial site, where they included the cardboard and they said he would have been alive if the Cleveland police wouldn't have fired. And I thought that was like really strong and I wanted to include in it.
Amy or Ingrid, what are your thoughts on what you saw and what you learned about it?
It was kind of extreme because they had already mentioned that they didn't know if it was a real gun or not. So I don't see the point in why it was a child. Like I don't see why they had to be so aggressive about it. Like I don't know if they felt threatened, but I don't know. It was kind of dumb to me.
Yeah, definitely. If you guys and you guys could YouTube this. There's the video, actual footage. Tamara Weiss, 12-year-old boy, and it's one of those things that every boy, and I don't want to gender stereotype, but most kids, you have toy guns. Your family buys you toy guns to play with when you play, and you're at home. So he's just in the park, and it looks like a fake gun. They said it has an orange tip and everything. When the cops pull up, he is actually very quickly. Right when they pull up, he turns around and they unload on him. Very tragic, very sad moment. It's very frustrating to see, very scary for anyone that has younger siblings or or people, um, cousins or whatever, because that's a very typical thing for someone to do, to have a toy gun. And the response is crazy. Let's go to the next one. Paula, Velka, or and Samantha.
I'll start. Elijah McClain was 23 years old and he was a massage therapist in Aurora, Colorado. And he was a therapist for 4 years and shared an apartment with one of his cousins. And he was known to be an athlete and gifted intellectual at an early age. He had a really big passion for school and sports and liked to play both guitar and violin during his free time at school and at animal shelters.
On August 24th, 2019, Elijah McClain was walking home from the convenience store when police received a 911 call of a suspicious man who was wearing a ski mask. Police placed McClain in a carotid hold to render him unconscious. Medical responders then injected McClain with ketamine, which caused him to go into cardiac arrest on the way to the hospital and subsequently died a few days later.
So Samantha's mic doesn't work. Would one of you guys take one of her spots?
Yeah, the officers involved were put on paid administrative leave and later subsequently cleared of wrongdoing. After the tragic incident, McClain's death did not receive widespread attention, not until after the death of George Floyd. A Change.org petition was made to demand justice. People went out in peaceful protest all around the U.S. The petition received over 2 million signatures. This brought attention, causing the Attorney General to open an investigation on the case earlier this June. The officers involved were later fired, but in connection to a photo mocking the hold use on McClain.
Definitely sad case. It's kind of interesting, and you kind of see everyone with like ski mask and mask now. To people just overreact. Back then, this is not even long ago, last year.
Mr. Todd, I would like to comment something on.
Yeah, go ahead.
So actually, I was researching on that story specifically. It just really caught my attention, and it was very sad because when the police started to I guess surround him, he started saying that he was an introvert, that he was weird, that it was just like him, like he was his own person. And I felt like that in many ways invaded his privacy because he felt really uncomfortable, as a Black person, being surrounded, being accused of something that he didn't even do.
Yeah, definitely. If you look up the case of Elijah, he looks like a very sweet gentleman. But he's a little more. I'm not sure if he was diagnosed with any social issues. Possibly.
Can I comment on something?
Yeah, go ahead.
I remember reading about it, and I think he was anemic or something like that, because that's why he was wearing the black mask, and apparently he got really cold, so trying to keep his face warm, he wore masks like that, and that's why he kept saying he wasn't doing anything bad or robbing. He was just different, because I think he had something, but I don't remember what it was.
I am muted. Okay. Yeah. Uh, Definitely. And they put him in a chokehold and inject him with ketamine. Ketamine is a horse tranquilizer. They use it as tranquilizer, but it's very strong. It's a very, very strong substance. And you shouldn't do that to people if you don't know their medical situation, especially their medical history. He dies because of this. All right. Ahmaud Arbery. This is very recent. Let's go. Wait, whoops. To Jose and Albert.
I can start it off. Um, Ahmaud Arbery was a 25-year-old African American man from Brunswick. I think it's Georgia. I think. Um, Ahmaud was wanting to become an electrician following the footsteps of his three uncles. Mr. Arbery was the youngest of three kids of Sister Jasmine and Marcus Jr. Ahmaud Ahmad was remembered as a humble guy. Sorry.
Uh, Continue. Yeah. Either Jose or Albert.
Okay, I'll just continue. Ahmad died after being fatally shot. He was being pursued by three white males. Those white males were armed and were chasing him in a van. All of this was happening while Ahmad was going on a run. And he was basically just being followed by like these three races, like males. The aftermath. The case was reported widely around the world. There was no arrest made for a while. One of the men that was involved was eventually arrested and charged for other crimes. It took 74 days for him to get arrested. There was a run in memorial to Ahmad for his on his birthday. So it was like a marathon type of like run, and everyone was like running for it. And I also included pictures of him with his family to show like um happy memories for him instead of just showing like tragic things.
So his background info was that he was a 25-year old African American man from Brunswick, and he was wanting to become an electrician and follow in the footsteps of his three uncles. But and he was the youngest of the three kids of he had a sister, Jasmine, and Marcus Jr. And they remember him as a young man and was very humble.
All right. So definitely, this is a recent case. Doesn't we don't have a date here, but this is from the past year. Ahmaud Arbery, he went off a run, like many of us do, and he was there was a truck with three white males. They approached them, they harassed them. When Ahmaud tried to defend himself, well, he tried to run away. When the Ahmaud tried to defend himself, they shot him and claimed self-defense. At the time, they weren't charged with anything because they said he was defending. They were defending themselves, even though they were the ones that chased him down, harassed him, and attacked him. And they had a shotgun, and three people, and he just had himself. This was a recent one. This kind of got drowned out by the George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, but this was one of the recent ones that was crazy. Any thoughts on this? Yeah, I see people messaging me. Okay. Yeah, I think the goal of what we're seeing for. Yeah, the goal of this is to show or demystify when people say that people of color should act a certain way. around police officers and to not get killed, right? They all say, well, they shouldn't have been resisting, or they shouldn't have been doing this. The goal of these lessons is to show that no, 90% of the time, I mean, most of the time, what we see is that the aggressors are not the people being arrested, but the police officers. All right, so what do we have now? Trayvon Martin. This is one of the first cases that was publicly shown. Fernanda, Yamlex, and Stephanie, you're up.
Okay, I'll go first. So we got Trayvon Martin, and he was a 17-year-old from Miami, Florida. Both of his parents were divorced, and he had 3 siblings. He enjoyed horseback riding and skiing. Since a child, he dreamt of becoming a pro football player, but later in life, he decided that he wanted to work in the aviation field.
The tragedy unfolded. So it happened on February 26, 2012. Martin was walking back to his house in a gated community in Sanford, Florida, in which he and his father were staying. He had just finished buying Skittles and an Arizona drink from a local gas station. And from there, he caught the attention of a self-appointed neighborhood watcher known as George Zimmerman following him. George Zimmerman called the police saying this guy looks like he's up to no good or he's on drugs, that he looks suspicious. And George soon approached Trayvon, questioning what he was doing. And he stated that Trayvon got aggressive and began attacking him, which led him to shooting Trayvon as self-defense. And yeah, he died. I'll just do the aftermath then. Okay, so George Zimmerman was taken into jury, and he claimed self-defense in the confrontation. And in a widely reported trial, Zimmerman was charged with the murder of Martin's death, but then acquitted at trial after claiming self-defense, so he was released. And this caused a lot of movements, protests all around the world, even occurring now. And the image of Martin wearing a hoodie became iconic. Professional athletes donated hoodies, and protesters became a mantra saying, I am Trayvon Martin, to express his solidarity and outrage. And Martin's death inspired the president, Barack Obama, the old president, Barack Obama, to deliver a heartfelt message to Martin's parents saying, if I had a son, he'd look like Trayvon. And now in 2019, which is recent, George Zimmerman actually filed a lawsuit against Trayvon Martin's family, saying that one of the witnesses that they brought in, which was Trayvon's girlfriend, like she was talking to Trayvon while he was being followed, and she heard everything like with the murder. And they said that he said that she was a fake witness and an imposter. Yeah, I think he filed for like $1 million. I don't know. They said the news sites were saying that it was just like hectic. It was just embarrassing. Like, why would he even like file a lawsuit?
Yeah, so for Fernanda, Yamlex, and Stephanie, what are your thoughts on this case?
I feel like it's sad because like it's always them not doing they're not doing anything, but yet they still end up getting killed.
I felt like when I read it, I was like, whoa, like it was just crazy because there's a lot of videos like where George Zimmerman was like acting like a witness, not like a witness, like he didn't do anything. Like he kept like showing like, oh, this is the place that he attacked me, and then it was like really odd because like within the time like of the trial and everything, like he gained a lot of weight, and I feel like that was like a lot of stress or something on him because, you know, like how are you gonna gain so much weight within like this time? Like there must have been a reason for that. Even the news sites stated that. And yeah, I just felt like it was just like, I don't know, it was just really saddening, you know, seeing his like he didn't even do anything, like he was just going back to his parents' house, and you know, and he just died. Like it was just so sad.
Welcome, Mr. Manzano. I'm sorry, I meant to invite you to our my second class of the day, not my first class, but you're welcome to stay too.
Well, good morning, everyone. I am here, so
yeah, you know, you are the head of English too, so you can watch.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. It's interesting, so I'll definitely stick around.
Okay. All right, so definitely, this is a very interesting case, not only because of the situation, but it's actually the one that sparks the Black Lives Matters movement. You start seeing the hashtag after after this event. So this is the first publicly known event. Maybe because we have social media, maybe because during that time Facebook, you could attribute to a lot of things, but definitely this is the one that people start paying attention to. All right, let's do the next one. Sandra Bland. We have Lauren, Nina, and Lizana.
I'll start it. So her full name is Sandra Annette Bland. She was the second youngest of 5 daughters. She was raised by a single mother in Illinois. At the age of 10, she began to play the trombone and became active at church. In January 2015, she started to post videos on social media called Sandy Speaks. They were about certain topics like police brutality, her own emotional struggles, and more. On July 9, she became a community outreach coordinator and was 28 at the time.
Bland was pulled over by an officer named Brian Encina for changing lanes without signaling. He ordered Bland to extinguish her cigarette, but she refused to do so. Things escalated and he drew out his stun gun and Bland started questioning him. Bland exited her car and was handcuffed and booked into Waller County Jail in Texas for the suspicion of a felony assault on a public servant. Her bail was set at $5,000 on July 13, 2015. Sandra Bland was found dead at the age of 28. Police reported that she had used a plastic bag to hang herself in her cell. Her death was claimed as a suicide.
After many people protested and they also gathered at the jail where she died. Her family also settled a lawsuit against officials in Waller County for $1.9 million. The settlement also included policy changes in jail procedures, and it was discovered that the officer lied on his official report of the incident. He was then charged and fired, but the charges were then dropped after he agreed to giving up his police license, and he also agreed to never seek another job in law enforcement.
Cool, thank you. Do you guys have any thoughts on the Sandra Bland case?
Yeah, I think it's very interesting because a lot of people were saying that they think that she was murdered by the police. It's not a for sure thing, but a lot of people were thinking that she got murdered. And I think it's very sad because if you were to just given her the ticket and let her go, she could have still been alive.
Can I add something?
Yeah, definitely go.
Oh, so like Lauren was saying that people think the police killed her. There was also a photo of her circulating, and it was her mugshot. And some people were saying that she was actually already dead
Oh
by the
yeah.
time the mugshot was being taken, and that they that the police officers took it on while she was dead already. And I just found that so crazy. Why would they do that? This, I don't know. I just find it really sad and it's just so tragic.
Definitely. It's a very strange case once you really look into it, because she goes from being is a traffic stop, and the police officer takes exception to it and arrests her. She doesn't do anything blatantly that causes arrest, but maybe the police officer does not. And there's books written on this. Regardless of how she acts, right? Even if she gives a little attitude, the police officer should be trained to handle that. But this traffic stop turns her into her death, and she dies off camera in the cell. She hangs herself, supposedly, right? It's just a strange situation, and if you look into it, the facts and details are murky. Okay, we have Freddie Gray, Yeretsi, Julio, Mark, and Jessica.
I'm gonna give the background information, but I don't know if you could hear. Wait, am I talking?
Yeah, we could hear you.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, you're talking.
Okay, so Freddie Gray, background information. Freddie Gray was 25-year-old man who was arrested by Baltimore Police Department in 2015. He was a regular guy who had a hard life. His mother dealt with heroin addiction. His brother was a victim of street violence and died 18 months before Freddie. He was a good kid who loved football and helped raise his girlfriend's babies.
All right, I'll go tragedy info. Freddie was arrested on April 12, 2015 for the possession of a knife. Gray died when his head was violently struck with a bolt inside a van. And the Washington Post reported that Gray had suffered injuries consistent with the car crash. His family said he lapsed into a coma with 3 fractured vertebrae, injuries to his voice box, and his spine 80% severed at its neck.
And the aftermath is Freddie Gray died on April 19th in 2015, a week after his arrest. He died due to a spinal cord injury that was caused when he struck his head while in the transport vehicle on the way to the care center. His death sparked many riots and protests and angered many people. During the protests, 113 officers were injured and 2 people were shot via the riots and arson. This, however, did not represent the progressive movement, but it shows how angry people were after his death. And his family earned $6.4 million after the settlement.
Yeah. You guys have any thoughts before we move on? Julio, Yaretsi, Mark, or Jessica?
Yeah, one thought was that the knife that he was holding, which is why he was arrested for carrying an illegal knife, but they were arguing like during the lawsuit that it was or wasn't illegal because switchblades in Baltimore are illegal, but it was like a whole deal whether or not the knife would be considered a switchblade. And yeah, it was just really sad that he died because they turned it into like an argument and not really thinking about the fact that he still died due to police brutality.
All right, let's see what's next. Ezell Ford. We have Bitsada, Brianna, and Adrian.
Okay, so full name Ezell Earl Ford was an African American born on October 14, 1988. He was the oldest of 7 children, and his dream was to become a professional basketball player and a doctor. So when he was younger, Ford suffered from asthma and difficulty breathing. And as he grew older, he was diagnosed with depression, schizophrenia, and bipolar disorder. So unfortunately, he had to deal with several mental disorders. So in order to deal with them, he would take long walks throughout his neighborhood in order to clear his head. So his walks served as like a grounding activity. And this was all said by his great aunt, Mahalia Clark. And he also attended 66th Street Elementary, Marcus Garvey Elementary, Bethune Middle School, and Verbum Day High School. And Bethune Middle School is not that far from HP, so I think most of you guys know where that's at.
So the tragedy was that he was walking on the sidewalk and he caught the attention of 2 officers, Charlton Wampler and Antonio Villegas. He was actually arrested, I think like 1 year, 2 years prior to the tragedy by Charlton Wampler. So he was directly targeted by him. And they stopped him like as an investigative stop, and then he didn't want it to stop because he was just minding his own business walking on the sidewalk. So then they attempted to handcuff him, and like obviously he resisted because it's like, why is he getting arrested, why is he getting handcuffed if he hasn't done anything, he's just walking on the sidewalk. And that resulted like in an altercation where like he like tried resisting arrest, and then they ended up shooting him because they said that like he was a threat to them. And that's how like the situation happened.
Later on, District Attorney for the LAPD, Jackie Lacey, would be assigned to the case and decided that a year and a half later from the shooting that no officer would be at fault for the incident. All were said to have acted in self-defense and that none would be prosecuted. Activists and residents in the Los Angeles area had majorly criticized for both the delay and the verdict. 2 responses were made, both by Ezell Ford's mother, Tritovia Ford, where she stated to reporters from the First African Methodist Episcopal Church of Los Angeles that faith has been lost as no justice has been made for her son. The other statement was from Mayor Eric Garcetti, who said that he accepted the decision made, but also stated that he strived to find better ways to protect Los Angeles inhabitants.
Any thoughts on the situation between the three of you?
My thoughts is that I feel like he was already being racially profiled just because of like a crime he committed 2 years ago. So I feel like the officer Wampler, like it's very suspicious how he stopped him because it was an investigative stop, but yet he had like a bias against him already.
Yeah, definitely. I have something to show you guys after, but we'll move on for now. We didn't get anyone. Jake Blake. Actually, I guess when you have time dash, finish that. But there's a few we didn't put in. I realized that afterwards. There's a Michael Brown, and that was actually pivotal to the case within the story. And if you look it up, Michael Brown is, I think 17 or 18. There was incident, but he got confronted with the police. There was a scuffle. They got in a fight, but the police officer pulled out a gun and shot him. There's more to that. I give once I get more information on it, but I'll fix it for you guys. Let me show you guys something, a video, before we move on to our story. All right, so you guys hear a lot of, I don't want to get too political, but you guys get a lot of saying, which says we should defund the police. What do you guys think that means, to defund the police?
Can I say?
Yeah, definitely, go ahead.
So basically, like most of the money that goes towards like the police to put into like other things like education or maybe like even better education for police, so then they could handle situations better.
Yeah. Okay. Anyone else? Take a shot at it. When you see those protesters and whatnot, and they're screaming out, "Let's defund the police." What do you assume that means? What do you think that means?
Defunding police usually means to redirect the funds to like mental health organizations or more education for students so they could be more involved in the community rather than cops invading communities.
Yeah, definitely. So I guess if I were to put it in terms of like education, you know, in a sense, teachers are like in the direct line, right? We are the ones that are in the classroom and teaching, but it would be impossible. And I say impossible to do our job correctly if we didn't have the help of other people, right? So we don't have all our resources just on teachers. We have librarians that assist you with book needs and stuff like that. We have counselors that help your college or your grades. We have administrators, we have deans, we have a whole list of things. So when people are clamoring for defund the police, what they're trying to say is, yes, as Ryan said, is they want to redirect funds, but to what, right? And the key thing is you do not need police officers for every 911 call. And you see that with some of the examples. For example, Ezell Ford. Ezell Ford was someone that had mental, he had bipolar issues, he had some other issues, right? So there were things that the police officers aren't equipped to handle. There's a saying, if all you have is a hammer, then everything is a nail. So think about that. If all you have is a hammer, then everything is a nail, right? So even if you see a screw, you see a bolt or whatever, if your only weapon, your tool is a hammer, you're just gonna be, oh, I'm just gonna hammer this and hopefully it fixes it. And what's the point of that metaphor is to show that you can't solve all problems with one tactic. And I'm showing you a video right now. This is from 2016, and you had an autistic patient. He ran away and his therapist, Charles Kinsey, who is African American, tries to assist them. Police officers show up to the scene. Oh, just in case you can't read, I'll read the caption. Charles Kinsey, a therapist at an assisted living facility in North Miami, went outside on July 18th to calm down an autistic patient who had run away. Police officers were called in when someone mistook the patient's toy truck for a gun. Per police orders, Kinsey laid down with his hands up. So, person laying down, that is Charles Kinsey, his therapist, and the person sitting down, that is the individual that has autism. And if you know anyone with autism, you lack the social understanding of what's happening. Saying all he has is a toy truck. A toy truck. I'm a behavior therapist. That is all. That is all. There's no need for guns. A police statement said that during the negotiation, one officer discharged his weapon, striking the employee.
Like, please don't shoot me. But why they shot the black boy and not the fat boy? Because these are the blacks. I don't know who's guilty.
Kinsey's attorney said he was handcuffed and left on the hot Miami pavement for 20 minutes before being transported to the hospital to treat a gunshot wound to his right leg. He's expected to recover. So the Washington Post kind of didn't show the entirety of it. You watch the video. They end up shooting the therapist, the person with his hand, who's laying down. But regardless of the situation, it's unnecessary to have police officers when we have someone that have autism or mental disorders in that situation. That's one example where it could have been more effective if we had someone that was trained to deal with social issues, mental issues, definitely not with a gun. All right, so let's go back. This took a lot longer than I a little expected. So I kind of planned for that slightly. Let's go back to our agenda. All right, so we never got to do some of these things, but at least we did number 4, which was my key thing. All right, let me redirect you guys a little bit. Man, this is kind of tough. Okay, so we're gonna keep 4, 5, 6, and 7. I'm going to give you an extra week to do the reading this time. So all this stuff, reading part 2, dialogue journal number 2, and these discussion posts, you could find them all inside of week 11 and 12. So if you go to week 11 and 12, you see, oh, sorry about that. You can see them all in week 12. These are all your assignments that are due in not next week, but in 2 weeks. So I wanted to give you expanded period of time because I know that some of you guys, obviously have other classes. So you have 2 weeks to get through these 3 assignments and, oh wait, 1, 2, 3, these assignments and the quizzes for it. Remember, for the quizzes, you could take them up to 2 times. So if you don't do well on first time, you go back and improve. Let's see. Let's go back to here. I didn't get a chance to go through what I really wanted to get to, which is notes on the reading. So we're most likely going to do it next week between the word of me notes. So test number 1, ignore it. I'm going to change the deadline. Annotation assignment, ignore it. We're going to do that next time. We're going to read a poem. So the only thing you need to do this week is part 1 review. All right, so the only assignment you have for this week is part 1 review. And you can see that in here. It's in week 11 homework. It is called reading discussion number 1, reviewing part 1. So there's 2 paragraphs you have to write. The first one is, we understand that Coates wrote this book to explain the world to his son after the death of Michael Brown and the acquittal of his killers. Explain what are the lessons that Coates want to explain to his son regarding America streets. Yeah, so, and then there's paragraph 2. It's kind of tough. So do your best, answer that question. That's your only assignment. And we'll have a chance for you guys to go fix it later after we do our notes. But test number 1, ignore it. We're not going to do that until next week, because I do want to go through explaining the novel. And these assignments, you have extended period of time to do. This annotation assignment, we're not going to do till in class next week. So you saw that we're supposed to have that at the end of the period today. We'll do a discussion next week, like a debate. I'll give you some topics. But the key thing, I'm glad we got through number 4. And number 6 was the second most important thing, but it's okay. We'll do that next week. Any questions about anything? All right, so since we are giving you more time for this, if you want to go back and update your dialogue journal because you feel like, yeah, you could do a little better, you definitely have more time to do that. Remember, for the quizzes, you have up to 2 times to take it. So if, excuse me, sorry, but that time is the one regarding. Yeah, it's someone asked me about annotation sign, which is Langston Hughes and June Jordan. We're supposed to do that in class together. So since we haven't read that together, you don't have to do that yet. Yeah, it was never my intention for that to become homework. It was just something we're supposed to do in class. Yeah, so you could definitely retake the quizzes. And if some people are saying they're doing poorly on the quizzes, we have more quizzes on the novel. Okay, last final recap. There's a lot of things happening here, but only thing you need to worry about is number 1, part 1 review, which is discussion post. 2 and 3 are things we're going to postpone till next week. 4, 5, 6, and 7, you can get started on it if you want, but I'm giving you 2 weeks to complete this assignment. Right, so you have 2 weeks to read part 2, 2 weeks to do the next dialogue journal, 2 weeks to do the discussion post, and there are 3 quizzes attached to those assignments. All right. I thank you guys for joining us. Oh, sorry about that. One last thing. I mentioned this last time. So what I usually do in class is I do a companion piece to what we're reading. So we usually have a text, then we discuss stuff, and then there is some movies that we watch to learn about the situation. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna show a movie on Discord. Do you guys know what Discord is? Have you guys heard of it? Some of you guys have. I tried joining server, but the invite link has expired. Oh, okay. Let me see if I can make a new invite link. So basically, it's like a stream, like a chatting streaming service and everything. I'll show you how it looks right now. So this is how it looks. We had Marlene and some other people join. Let me figure out how to add people. I'm very new to this. Create invite, copy, and so tomorrow at what time did I put? Oh, tomorrow at 7 p.m. Join the Discord. Yeah, it's not mandatory, but we're gonna watch a movie called Fruitvale Station. It's not on Netflix, but I have the digital version, and we're gonna stream it. And it's cool because we have to have a like discussion about it as the movie's happening. We have like a chat box, and for attending and answering like a questionnaire after, you get extra credit. So if you feel like you need extra credit in the cool class, join us tomorrow. It'll be fun. I mean, bring some popcorn or whatever, and we'll sit there and watch Fruitvale Station. So let me show you guys how it looks. It looks like this. Hopefully you see my screen. Let me stop my share. Yeah, so it looks like this. We have some people joining. I'll send out another link later if you need it, if it expires again. But yeah, I think it'll be fun. Cool. So
Mr. Tom, there's an option of making it like not expire.
Oh, cool. How do I do that?
So like when you're gonna.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Grant temporary membership. Expire never. No limit. Okay, I got that. Thank you, Alex. All right, let me update this. All right, cool. Add the link to it. All right, so yeah, tomorrow we're gonna watch this film. Not required, but it'll be fun. I think what else he doesn't do. Extra credit, please join. And with that said, I will see everyone next week or tomorrow. See you guys.
Bye, mister.
I'm trying to join the Discord call right now, but I don't know if I can do it right now or if I can do it like later.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. It says create your server. Do I have to put something specific?
Yeah, Alex, do you have any answers to that?
A server? What do you mean a server? What does it tell you?
Can you join the server instead of creating one?
Yeah, I can. Hold on.
Yeah, with the servers, the link that he gave us, like the link to
It's because
his.
I'm joining it on my phone. The link that Mr. gave me, I'm on the Chromebook the school gave me, but it says that it's restricted. So I downloaded it on my phone.
It's restricted on there. Wait, is there a code that you put, Mr. Tall?
Is there a code that we put? We'll learn. I'll learn right now. Let's see. Invites. Invite code?
Yeah, that one. I'm assuming that's the server.
Maybe. I don't. Okay, let's look at this. Well, we have the link.
I just typed it in manually. I think I'm in.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's. Forgive me. This is my first time.
Yeah,
using
you're in. It says that you joined already.
Yeah, I see you on your phone. Cool.
Oh yeah, it shows a
Oh,
little
okay, cool.
phone. That's cool.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, because I really want to watch the movie. I didn't know it was on Netflix until you said it, but
It
yeah,
used to be on
I've been
Netflix,
hearing about it.
and they took
Yeah,
it down.
but if I would have known that it was on Netflix like a year ago, I would have watched it. But yeah, I'll
No,
join.
it probably was on Netflix like 3 years ago.
Mr. Tall, you
Oh,
should tell
okay.
everyone to put their like the avatar that we made as their picture.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool. Okay.
Yeah, I'll put mine like that later, because I need to download it from my computer to my phone, and I don't know how to do that. But I'll put it later.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm gonna run some tests to make sure I understand what I'm doing.
I think mine changed.
Do you use this often, Amlex? Do you have used it before?
No, I'm new. I'm new as well.
You're new. Okay, so my friends use it, but I don't really do it. They use it to play games and stream like their game playing.
Yeah, I heard it. I mean, I've only heard of Twitch, but this looks like a cool app. It just has its ways to it because it's like has a lot of like clicks, you know.
Yeah.
But it's cool. I mean, you just have to like mess around with it, and you'll get your.
Cool.
Okay, so how do I know when we'll be in a call? Like, wait, you're gonna go like live on Discord or something so we can watch the movie, or?
Yeah. Basic. So just log on to Discord at that time, and then I'm going to share my screen, and there'll be like a chat box open, so you can talk about it during.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
All right then. Bye, Mister. Have a great day. Bye, Jenny
Yeah.
X.
Bye.
Thank you guys. Bye.
You're welcome. Bye. Damn, everyone's joining. This feels cool.
It feels cool. Yeah. Are you on it right now?
Yeah, I'm on it, but let me see.
All right. I'm going to, since you're here, I'm going to test something out, and I'm gonna have you look at it. Okay.
Okay, go for it.
Let me edit channel. Okay. All right, so you joined. Hold on, I'm gonna get off Zoom.
Thing. Yeah, turn off your. No, you turned off your mic. Let's see. Like turn off your app mic, not the Zoom mic. Like in the bottom of the page, it gives you like a headphones and then like a little mic and then a settings. Oh yeah, you're muted already.